At the very beginning, we're introduced to a girl named Becky. She walks into an elevator with her phone recording, preparing to attempt a mysterious challenge spreading online called the elevator game. The rumor says that if you press a sequence of buttons in the right order, the lift won't behave normally. On the 5th floor, an eerie woman is supposed to appear. The warning is clear: don't look at her, don't speak, just stay silent until the doors close, because the second you break the rule, she'll notice, and you won't escape alive. Afterward, you're supposed to hit the 1st floor button, but instead of going down, the elevator is set to climb to the 10th floor, opening a doorway into a twisted red dimension. A suffocating darkness rushes in. Becky freezes. She's no longer alone. A shadowy figure stands inside with her. A chilling voice whispers, "Where are you headed?" In the next breath, Becky's life is taken. Months roll by after Becky's disappearance. Now we're introduced to 5 close friends: Maddie, Chris, Izzy, Chloe, and Kevin, fresh out of high school. Together, they run a horror-focused YouTube channel. What started as a fun side project had grown into something serious, even helping pay for their rising college costs. Kevin, the team's organizer and manager, oversaw everything from planning shoots to handling sponsors. But recently, their sponsors weren't satisfied. In the last upload, the product wasn't shown clearly enough. Upset, the sponsors demanded a redo with proper visibility. Kevin promised to fix it in the next release, forcing the group to create a brand new episode under pressure. To lighten the load, Kevin invited a new face, Ryan, a loyal fan who eagerly joined as an unpaid intern. But not everyone was happy about it. Chloe, the team's researcher, didn't like the rush. She insisted that skipping proper research would hurt their credibility. Kevin pushed back. He just needed something quick and easy. That's when Ryan pitched an idea: the elevator game. No big budget, no complicated props, and it even tied into local lore. The mystery of Becky, the girl who vanished in this very neighborhood. Chris rolled his eyes. He thought it sounded dull, just a bunch of elevator shots. But with no better plan, Kevin gave the green light. Chloe, still skeptical, ended up showing Ryan around their studio and even their rooftop lounge. She shared her number with him in case he needed help later. Soon, the crew was ready. They packed cameras, gathered gear, and drove to the same building where Becky was last seen. To satisfy the sponsors, Kevin suggested they all wear branded shirts on camera. The group shot that down, except Izzy, who agreed to wear one. Since it was Saturday, the office tower stood mostly empty, perfect for sneaking in. Ryan helped Izzy install a camera inside the elevator. Once it was secured, Izzy linked all the feeds to her tablet, giving them a live view of every angle. During this setup, Chloe casually mentioned to Ryan that she's a total history geek, which is why she digs through archives so passionately. With everything in place, the filming was about to begin. Chris, Maddie, and Chloe step into the elevator. Chris instantly slips into his usual dramatic persona, cracking jokes as Maddie carefully lays out the challenge rule. The pattern is chilling but simple. Press 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, and finally 1. On the 5th floor, everyone must keep their eyes shut tight until the doors close by themselves. If anyone looks, the woman of the legend will come for them. Right then, Izzy pops onto the live stream to cover the sponsor segment. The group cringes at the awkwardness, but they continue filming. Meanwhile, Izzy, Ryan, and Kevin monitor the live feed from the tablet. But suddenly, the stream flickers and glitches. Static cuts through the footage. Inside the elevator, as they hit the 6th floor, the overhead lights begin to strobe violently. Maddie panics, his nerves breaking, and begs to quit. But Chris and Chloe insist they push on. Soon, the doors slide open at the 10th floor, revealing a silent, empty hallway. The group steps back in, deciding to head for the 5th floor, the part of the myth that truly matters. By now, Maddie is trembling. He whispers to Chris not to peek, confessing he now believes the legend. Chris only smirks, nodding with arrogance. Downstairs, a security guard begins his nightly patrol, forcing Izzy and the others to duck out of sight. The feed continues streaming, but they can't see clearly. Inside, the students squeeze their eyes shut as the elevator doors slide open again. The camera captures everything. Chris can't resist. He cracks his eyelids just enough to peek. Nothing happens. No ghost, no attack. He stifles a laugh under his breath. When the doors shut, Chloe and Maddie open their eyes, relieved but shaken. Chris grins, pressing the button for the 1st floor. But instead of going down, the lift lurches upward. Maddie's panic skyrockets as the elevator keeps climbing. He lunges at the controls, but Chris and Chloe restrain him. Suddenly, the doors open on the 9th floor. An office worker stands there, startled by the crowded lift. Moments later, they all make it safely to the lobby. But before the doors closed, Chloe froze. She could hear it, soft, haunting, unmistakable. A child's rhyme drifting faintly in the air. Back in the control area, Izzy realized disaster had struck. The footage was corrupted, most of their recording unusable. A reshoot was the only solution. Chris flatly refused. To him, it had all been a dumb prank anyway. That's when Ryan dropped the truth. Becky, the missing girl, wasn't just anyone. She was his younger sister. She'd been a freshman when Chris enticed her with promises of being featured on their channel if she filmed the elevator ritual. Eager to impress, she tried it and vanished. The revelations stunned the group. Izzy and Chloe's anger boiled over, accusing Chris of using Becky. Chris snapped back, yelling she hadn't been used. She had simply run away. The argument spiraled into a heated fight between Chris and Ryan right there in the lobby. Before fists flew, the security guard barged in and threw them all out of the building. Later, Chloe tried to comfort Ryan, though she was furious herself. He had lied about his motives and dragged them into a nightmare. Izzy and Kevin returned to the studio, piecing together whatever footage they could. But then Izzy realized something. The camera inside the elevator was still running, left behind. They would need to go back. That evening, Chris tried calling Chloe to apologize, but she ignored him, still burning with anger. At her flat, that same eerie nursery rhyme echoed again, faint but clear. Meanwhile, Chris stepped into his apartment lobby and froze. Standing before him was the ghostly woman, the same figure tied to Becky's disappearance. She lunged at him, and his body stiffened in terror. Within seconds, he collapsed, trapped in a catatonic state. Moments later, she ended his life. Across town, Maddie sat alone at a bus stop, staring at the empty road where no bus had arrived. Ryan wrestled with his thoughts, torn between quitting and continuing. Fear begged him to give up, but his heart whispered that his sister's fate still mattered. Resolute, he stepped back into the elevator and followed the button sequence. After the 5th floor, the lift didn't go down. It rose, stopping only at the 10th. When the doors slid open, Ryan stepped into a world bathed in a dark, crimson glow. It resembled his own, but twisted, hollow, and wrong. And there she was, the ghostly woman, waiting just outside. She lunged at him in an instant, forcing Ryan to retreat into the lift and slam the doors before she could drag him away. Back in reality, Izzy and Kevin had managed to retrieve the forgotten camera. But instead of leaving, Izzy dared Kevin to try the ritual themselves. Kevin resisted, then reluctantly agreed. When they reached the 5th floor, neither of them shut their eyes. Izzy laughed at the silence, mocking the myth, but her laughter died as the ghost appeared behind Kevin. In a flash, its arm tore through him, blood splattering across Izzy. Before she could even scream, the ghost turned and shredded her too. The camera recorded every horrifying second. Moments later, the elevator carried the bloodied footage up to the 10th floor, where Ryan was waiting. He rushed inside, only to find Izzy's camera replaying the carnage, yet their bodies were gone. Meanwhile, Chloe was lost in her research. Each article revealed a grim pattern. Becky wasn't the first. Several young women had vanished after trying this same ritual. Soon after, Chloe's phone rang. Ryan, panicked and gasping, poured out what he had witnessed. She begged him to meet her at the wellness center, inside the office tower. Elsewhere, Maddie was unraveling. Haunted by the ghost's presence, he sprinted down the streets in pure terror. Desperate, he phoned Chloe, who told him to meet them at the building. At the wellness center, Ryan confessed everything to Chloe. He told her about the ritual, the Crimson World, and then handed her Izzy's camera. Watching the footage left her shaken to the core. Chloe urged them to call the police, until she noticed the crude circle Maddie had drawn on the floor. Maddie stumbled in, trembling, and recounted his own encounter. But Chloe remained skeptical. To her, this still felt like nothing more than a viral hoax. She explained her findings. The ritual's roots went back a decade, to a group of sorority girls. One drunken night, they shoved their friend Alice into an elevator shaft as a prank. They left her there, forgotten. Over the weekend, the elevator failed, and Alice died in the fall. Ryan and Maddie pushed back. They didn't want cops, they wanted a way out. That's when Chloe froze. The faint humming she had been hearing grew louder. A nursery rhyme about an elevator. Hidden within the words was a clue, a rule no one had known. When the door opens, you must close it. Only then can she be stopped. Just then, the ghost appeared inside the studio, paralyzing Chloe in fear. The others scrambled into the circle, clinging to their last hope of protection. Maddie swore she couldn't cross the boundary, but he was wrong. She stepped right through, seized him, and ripped him apart. Ryan didn't waste a second. He grabbed Chloe's hand and sprinted toward the office tower. When the night guard stepped in their way, Chloe blasted him with pepper spray and dragged Ryan inside the elevator. Without hesitation, she began punching in the sequence. The lift slid past the 5th floor and carried them upward until it reached the 10th. This time, Chloe saw it too, the twisted red world lurking beyond the doors. Ryan tried to rush out, desperate to search for his sister, but Chloe pulled him back. Together, they forced the doors closed, and the elevator started its descent. But something went wrong. It halted once more at the dreaded 5th floor. Their pulses raced. Both squeezed their eyes shut, waiting for the specter to appear. That's when a chilling voice whispered, "Where are you going?" Chloe's nerves broke. She cracked one eye open, and the ghost lunged. Ryan fought to resist, but eventually his will collapsed. The moment his eyes opened, blood splattered across the elevator as the entity devoured him. Months later, another young woman stepped inside that same elevator, holding her phone up to film an Instagram reel. She casually mentioned the story of Chloe and her friends, how they had vanished after attempting the game. And just like that, the curse continued, one victim feeding into the next. The film closes with a warning: don't follow every viral dare. Some rituals should never be tried, and some clicks can cost your life. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can catch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.